This is the Greek Agora. This would be the place where St. Paul would have preached. It's a massive complex. We don't really know the exact spot, but definitely in Acts chapter 17, beginning to read from verses 16, it says that he was taken to Athens, and as was his custom, went to the synagogue to preach. Then he spoke in the Agora. He walked around. There were temples, there were civic offices. Agora just means marketplace. There were a statue of a god every which way, and there were temples everywhere. I just passed the ruins of a temple to Zeus. And here we start Acts 17 verses, beginning to read from verses 16. While Paul was waiting for them in Athens, he was greatly distressed to see that the city was full of idols. So he reasoned in the synagogue with both the Jews and the God-fearing Greeks, as well as in the marketplace, day by day, with those who happened to be there. A group of Epicurean and Stoic philosophers began to debate with him. Some of them asked, "What is this babbler trying to say?" Others remarked, "He seems to be advocating foreign gods." They said this because Paul was preaching the good news about Jesus and the resurrection. Then they took him and brought him to a meeting of the Areopagus, where they said to him, "May we know what this new teaching is that you are presenting? You are bringing some strange ideas to our ears, and we would like to know what they mean." All the Athenians and the foreigners who lived there spent their time doing nothing but talking about and listening to the latest ideas. Paul then stood up in the meeting of the Areopagus and said, "People of Athens, I see that in every way you are very religious. For as I walked around and I looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with this inscription, 'To an unknown God.' So you are ignorant of the very thing you worship, and this is what I'm going to proclaim to you. The God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of the heaven and earth, and does not live in temples built by human hands. And he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man be the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands." God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he's not far from any of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. As some of your own poets have said, we are his offspring. Therefore, since we are God's offspring, we should not think that the divine being is like gold or silver or stone, an image made by human design and skill. In the past, God overlooked such ignorance, but now he commands all people everywhere to repent, for he has set a day when he will judge the world with justice by the man he has appointed. He has given proof of this to everyone by raising him from the dead. When they heard about the resurrection of the dead, some of them sneered, but others said, "We want to hear you again on this subject." At that, Paul left the council. Some of the people became followers of Paul and believed. Among them was Dionysius, a member of the Areopagus. The Areopagus is actually like a courthouse. I guess they want to test and see what this new ideologies about someone coming back from the dead. This is really strange. Let us know more. And the name Dionysius was mentioned. So today, Dionysius the Areopagite is memorialized by a church somewhere. And he is, well, said to be the first Christian convert in Athens. And he is the patron saint of Athens. And today I bring this message to you from what remains of the ancient Agora that St. Paul preached at. There's a temple up there, and to this end we see the Acropolis with the Parthenon right up there. I just came from there, and years ago, 11 years ago, I was here. It wasn't that memorable because it's all rocks and stones and remains of something, but today it is much more, especially when you think the gospel was first preached here in Athens, in this particular spot, wherever that is. Acts 17, beginning to read from verses 16 onwards. Read that for yourself too. Signing off from Athens.